Imagine planning the happiest day of your life, only to find out your maid of honor is secretly plotting to steal your fiancé. That's exactly what happened to me. But instead of glowing up, I stayed calm and I planned something so perfectly humiliating she'll never forget it. If you've ever been betrayed by someone you thought was your best friend, you know how much it stings. But stick with me, because this story, it ends with one of the most satisfying paybacks you'll ever hear. And hey, if you want more stories like this, make sure to like this video, hit subscribe, and ring the bell so you never miss a tale of sweet, sweet revenge. I used to think Claire was the sister I never had. We met in college, instantly clicked, and by the time we became roommates, we were inseparable. The kind of best friends who shared clothes, secrets, even half-baked midnight ideas. So when my fiancé Mark proposed, Claire was the very first person I told. She hugged me so tightly I could barely breathe, tears streaming down her face. She squealed when I asked her to be my maid of honor. That night, we toasted with champagne, giggling over color palettes and cake flavors. I thought she was genuinely happy for me. But here's the thing about betrayal. It never starts with a bang. It creeps in slowly, like a shadow you don't notice until it's already over your shoulder. At first, it was small things. Claire would forget conversations we had about vendors, then magically show up at the same appointments, acting like she'd been involved all along. She copied my Pinterest board, claimed my ideas as hers, even suggested that she should test wedding cakes with Mark because I was too busy. I brushed it off. Weddings are stressful, right? Maybe she was just overexcited. Then I found the text. It was a casual message at first. "Hey Mark, wanna grab coffee sometime? Just to talk about life." But then a heart emoji and a little flirty banter that had no business being there. My stomach dropped. My hands shook as I held his phone. In that moment, every laugh, every smile Claire had given me replayed in my head, but now twisted. I wanted to scream, to confront her, to rip her perfect little mask right there and then. But instead, I saved the message and I started to plan. See, I didn't want a messy fight that would ruin my wedding or make people choose sides. No, I wanted a revenge so precise, so undeniable that she couldn't talk her way out of it. So I broke my plan into 3 steps: confirm, manipulate, reveal. Step 1, confirm. I needed proof. One voicemail slipped through while I was at work. Claire's voice, soft and syrupy. "Hey babe, call me back." Babe, to my fiancé. She started arriving early to appointments that were meant for me, loitering with that fake rehearsed smile. And then, the kicker. I spotted nearly identical notes in her calendar and Mark's. Meetings, outings, coincidences? My suspicion was no longer suspicion. It was fact. Step 2, manipulate. Here's where I got creative. I started giving Claire important responsibilities that were actually meaningless. I put her in charge of the so-called guest experience. She loved the title. She got to fuss over favors, seating, and playlists, thinking she was running the show. In reality, I was building her stage, one she'd regret ever standing on. And meanwhile, I quietly collected more evidence. Screenshots of texts, recordings of conversations where she not so subtly hinted that maybe I was too busy for Mark. I told a few trusted friends not to gossip, but to make sure I wasn't alone when the truth finally exploded. Step 3, reveal. This had to be perfect. I didn't want to tarnish my actual wedding ceremony. That day was about Mark and me. But the reception, that's where the stage lights would burn. Here was my idea. Earlier, I'd asked Claire to create a film montage of our friendship through the years. She adored the project. She collected childhood photos, silly videos, even interviewed friends. She also recorded herself off camera, saying things she probably didn't think would be heard. What Claire didn't know was that my brother and I took all her footage and made some edits. Fast forward to the wedding day. The ceremony was magical. Sunlight poured through the windows, Mark's hand shook as he slipped the ring onto mine, and for a moment, I almost forgot about Claire's betrayal. Almost. Her maid of honor speech was flawless, emotional, witty, just the right amount of nostalgia. Guests dabbed their eyes and I clapped along, pretending nothing was wrong. Then came the reception. The DJ dimmed the lights. Everyone gathered for the big video Claire thought she'd created. It started sweetly enough. Baby photos, teenage selfies, even clips of us dancing in dorm rooms. People laughed, some wiped tears, and then the screen shifted. Texts appeared, Claire's flirty messages to Mark. "Hey babe, coffee? Just us?" The timestamps lined up with the days she'd forgotten my appointments. Then came the voicemails. Her voice echoed through the speakers, syrupy and unmistakable. The room fell silent. Forks froze halfway to their mouths. Mark's face drained of color. Claire, oh Claire's smile, vanished like someone had pulled the plug. And then the final blow. Footage of her own off-camera banter. Jokes about how Sarah doesn't even notice, and maybe I should be the one in white? The guests gasped. Some muttered. A few turned their eyes on her with open disgust. I stood up calm as ice, walked to the mic. I love my husband, and I value honesty more than perfection. If anyone's wondering why I planned this wedding so carefully, well, now you know. The silence was deafening. Claire stammered something about editing, about being framed, but no one believed her. Even her closest friend left the table in disgust. In that moment, Claire's mask crumbled. Her reputation, her image, everything she built, it was gone. And honestly, watching her world collapse under the weight of her own lies was the sweetest payback I could have ever asked for. Looking back, maybe it was petty. Maybe a talk would have been kinder, but betrayal this deep, it deserved nothing less than the truth laid bare. And I don't regret a thing. Sometimes revenge isn't about hurting someone, it's about finally standing up and saying, "You don't get to do this to me." If this story gave you chills, smash that like button and subscribe for more real-life tales of betrayal and payback. And tell me in the comments, what's the most satisfying revenge you've ever seen or pulled off? I'd love to hear your stories.